Hello! In today's GM Diary, I want to talk about storytelling and drama. Specifically, understanding the story you're telling and understanding the moments of drama. It'll probably be best if I just jump straight into the gameplay anecdote today so you get a better sense of what I'm talking about. In one of my campaigns right now, we're delving into the backstory of the party's bard. Beetle the bard specifically. We've gone back home to where he grew up and gone back to where his mentor is. Johannes Lenonis. Yes, Johannes Lenonis is who taught Beetle the Bard all of his musical ways. With this delve into backstory, we're looking into the mystery of what happened to Beetle's parents, who were also musicians, and who went missing. There's plenty of political intrigue as we're trying to figure out who is responsible for his parents going missing, being killed, whatever happened to them. But it's not all been political intrigue. There's been combats and threats and shadowy individuals trying to force the party out of the town, getting them to leave well enough alone and to not rake up old troubles. Well, the party's been trying to figure out who might be involved in Beetle's parents' disappearance, as well as the individuals sending the shadow conjurations and ninjas against them. They've also set up a concert. Considering much of this plotline has to do with bards and musicians, there's plenty of other musicians that are around with Beetle the Bard and Johannes Lenonis. There is Johannes Lenonis' new student, Gemma Rawlings, as well as a very big band that all the town's talking about, the Beak Boys. The party thought it would be a good idea to set themselves up on stage to try to provoke some responses from their primary suspect, Johannes Lenonis' new significant other, Yakino. Puns aside, it seems to be a good plan. As the party has continued their investigation since setting up this concert, they've gotten an even bigger confirmation that Yakino is involved in the plot. They don't know how much, but they do know that Yakino is involved to some degree. She's not just a red herring. While the party continues its investigations, one of the party members brought up the fact that this concert is not going to go off without a hitch. They are going to be attacked. Now, the rest of the party thought that this claim might be a bit bold, not understanding why it was so certain that they would be attacked during the concert. The accusing player's reasoning for why they would be attacked at the concert is because they've been attacked the past couple nights. They've been building up for the past 3-4 sessions to this concert being a kind of climactic moment, and because our DM likes drama, or rather the way he phrased it was, our DM likes drama, which he's not wrong. Now, will there be an attack at the concert? I don't know. Well, I do know, but I'm not going to say. But I do know that the player is right. That the players have been investigating the mystery for the past 3 or 4 sessions. We are building up to a climax in the story, and if there were an attack at the concert, that would be dramatic. Now, whether there is going to be an attack or not, there could be something else that happens. There's plenty of things that the players can do in the meantime that will change what I want to do with the concert. But the player's right. That concert is a climax, and something dramatic should happen there. After all, this is a plotline based all around bards. There's going to be some theatrics. Some people might say that the player making the accusation is metagaming in some way, but I don't think so. Rather, I think he understands the story that we're telling, that we are building to something and that it does make sense that something will happen at the concert. Now, whether the characters in the story have the reasoning of, our game master is dramatic, yes or no. But the players are part of the character's mindset, and something should happen. The characters in the story are going around investigating, they're pushing buttons, and clearly whoever's sending these shadow assassins after them doesn't want them messing around. So the more the characters do, the characters should expect an equal and opposite response. The further they delve, the further they get their hands into this mystery, yeah, the antagonists, whoever they are going to respond. So it makes perfect sense to understand the story that we're telling. As a second example to understanding the story that you're telling, I'm also running a Power Rangers role-playing game right now. And if you've seen a single episode of Power Rangers, you kind of understand how most of the episodes are going to be formatted. You do have the teenage superheroes that are going to be dealing with their own life troubles, but you also have a monster of the week that is going to show up. There's going to be a problem that the characters are going to have to solve, and spoiler warning, most of the time after that first encounter with the bad guy, the monster of the week gets away. Whether there's a danger that the Power Rangers get distracted with that allows for the enemy's escape, or a giant beam of light just comes down and sucks the enemy away, most of the time the Power Rangers aren't going to deal with the threat of the week on their first encounter with it. There's going to be something that pulls the threat away, and you have to wait for the end of the episode for the Power Rangers to finally deal with the threat. In my very first session of running the Power Rangers role-playing game, the Power Rangers had to deal with this. They had a threat that they knew was going to be the bad of the episode, of the session, but they couldn't deal with it right away. There was a barn burning down around them. The barn was on fire. They had to put out the barn, and the bad guy got away. It's gonna happen. They knew that at the end of the session, they would be coming back for a rematch where, to be honest, they blew him to smithereens. The players understood the beat and the rhythm of a Power Rangers episode, and because of that, were all the more accepting of how the session was laid out. Now, some people might call this a railroad, but I don't think it is. Understanding the overall beats and rhythms of how a story is going to play out simply sets expectations for the players. When it comes to signing up for something like wanting to play a Power Rangers role-playing game, you are, if anything, signing up for a roller coaster. You are signing up for that ride and generally know what's coming. Now, you don't know the story beats, you don't know how you're going to react to the situation or how your choices are going to change the direction of the gameplay itself, but you are aware that there are certain motifs and tropes that are expected within a Power Rangers game. Whether your sessions are as structured as following the beats and rhythms of a Power Rangers episode, or simply following a backstory plotline of a character, getting 3 or 4 sessions into it and understanding that you are gaining information in your investigations, you are opposing the shadowy bad guys, you are setting up a concert on your own. I didn't set up the concert. The player characters said, we want to do a big concert to draw out different emotions and tells of the possible enemy. The players set the stage themselves for a climactic moment, and simply understanding the beats and rhythms of the session you're in, the story arc that you're in if it's multiple sessions long, that is not a bad thing for the players to have a sense of where the game is going. It allows for them to better pace their resources. It helps for them to better pace their expectations. And as opposed to a surprise twist knocking them off their footing, they know that something dramatic is going to happen soon. Whether it's an NPC death, a revelation of truth, a turning of the perspective for a greater understanding of the narrative, as well as, yes, a possible combat. The combat doesn't necessarily have to be there in a half and half intrigue type storyline, but the players have every right to expect what is coming. The game master and the players are working from 2 different sides of a chasm to build a story together, and if the player expectations meet right in the middle with what the game master is trying to do, that is not a failure of gameplay, that is a success of storytelling. This is not supposed to be a GM diary where I tell you you've secretly been doing something wrong, that this is how you're supposed to do something. This is just saying that my players are understanding the stories that we're telling, and if anything, it makes them better prepared for how things are going to play out, and I love it. Thanks for watching the video. It was made with the support of our patrons over on Patreon, where you can see behind-the-scenes content and the development of our own TTRPG systems. If you're looking to join a game, head on down to the description where we have a link to our Discord. You can join long-form campaigns, short mini-series for bite-sized narratives, or quick dips into systems you don't want a long-term commitment to, or you can join our Tower of Taziok. Tower of Taziok is a 5th edition infinite dungeon with roguelite elements, legacy play, and downtime synchronous with the real world. After you form a house of patronage, every week that passes in your life, your character gets a week of downtime. Everything else you can check out milestoneplay.com, and yeah, thanks for watching. Let's get going.